The apartment on the third floor of the old building had been empty for 2 months. At least, that's what I thought. It started every night at exactly 3:17 a.m. First a light tapping, then slow footsteps. They crossed right above my ceiling, from the kitchen toward the bedroom. The same route every time, the same tempo, as if someone was maintaining their daily routine up there. The first night I told myself, must be mice. The second night, water pipes. By the third night I wasn't convinced anymore, because that night, after the footsteps, I heard a chair being dragged. When I asked the building manager, Orhan, he shook his head. "Upstairs is empty, son. The tenant moved out and gave me the keys. Nobody's been inside since." "What about electricity, water?" "Everything's been cut off, of course." That evening I listened more carefully. At 3:17, it started again. This time the sounds were clearer. The footsteps went to the kitchen. I heard the refrigerator opening and closing. Then water running at the sink. It was impossible. I found Orhan again in the morning. "Look, son," he said in a tired voice. "I know there's a problem with that apartment, but don't tell anyone. The last 3 tenants moved out with the same complaint." "What kind of complaints?" "They heard sounds at night. Some of them said they saw other things too." The fear in his eyes was real. He didn't want to talk about it anymore. That night, I was prepared. I set my phone to record and stepped out to my door at 3:15. The stairwell was dark, only the emergency light casting a dim glow. At 3:17, it began. Footsteps, clearer than ever. But this time I noticed something different. Sounds were also coming from the stairwell. Someone was walking downstairs. My heart began to race. The sounds were approaching. Second floor, first floor. They were going to the basement. Then everything went silent. The next morning, I checked the basement. At the end of the dark corridor was an old door, half open. When I asked Orhan, he said, "That's the old boiler room. Hasn't been used for years." When I pushed the door fully open, I saw old furniture inside. A broken chair, a rusty refrigerator, a non-working sink. In the corner, old newspapers were piled up. The date on the top newspaper, March 15th, 1987. "Mysterious death in apartment building," was written in bold letters. I read the article. Mehmet Tash, 54, found dead in his rented third-floor apartment, was discovered by neighbors 3 days later. According to the autopsy report, Tash died of a heart attack. It was learned that he took walks at the same time every night and would eat something from the kitchen. My hands were trembling. I dropped the newspaper and went upstairs. I found Orhan. "What happened on the third floor in 1987? His face went pale. "How do you know about that? Who was Mehmet Tash?" He took a deep breath. "I was just a child then, but my father used to tell me. Uncle Mehmet was a very orderly man. Every night at 3:17 he would get up, go to the kitchen, eat something. After he died, it was like the routine continued. So, yes, son, that sound is Uncle Mehmet's. For 37 years he's been continuing his nightly routine. Only now he uses his old belongings in the basement. That night I decided to move out. But I wanted to listen one last time. At 3:17 it started again. Footsteps, kitchen sounds, water running, then slowly down the stairs. This time I had the courage to open my door. There was nothing in the corridor, but a faint light was seeping from the basement, and I heard a sound. Someone was eating. Gently I called out, "Uncle Mehmet." Everything stopped. Then slow footsteps. Going upstairs, second floor, third floor. The door on the third floor creaked open and closed. I never heard the sounds again after that day. It was as if Uncle Mehmet had finally returned home. Sometimes late at night, I hear faint music from upstairs. Nostalgic, melancholy songs. And now I'm not afraid. I even find it somewhat comforting. Because nobody is truly alone in this world. Not even after death.